Hello, class. It's Mrs. Pinkney. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, and we are now in our penmanship class. And today we will be doing lesson 114. Go ahead and get your journal because we will be writing in our journal today. We will be continuing to write about Daniel Boone. So, from the information that I gave you before in our last class, we're going to continue on because we want to write good sentences and we want to do a little bit more information gathering and answering of questions. So, the objectives of this lesson is demonstrating comprehension by answering questions and building knowledge through information gathering. So, we want to talk about our title. Our title, we know that the title is going to be something about Daniel Boone and who he was. So, that is up to you. Well, I have some things written on the board about Daniel Boone. Daniel Boone was a pioneer. He was he lived in Kentucky. He did something in Kentucky. We'll talk about that later. The Wilderness Road and Boonesboro. So let's talk about those again. I'm going to read to you some information about Daniel Boone. I've read it to you before, so this is just a little review. Daniel Boone was an American pioneer. He grew up in Pennsylvania where he loved the outdoors. Young Daniel enjoyed learning how to live in the forest and hunt like the Indians. Daniel became a skillful hunter. That means a very good hunter. It became his job to hunt meat for the Boone family. So he was the person that went out and hunted meat for his family. When he was older, he led a group of men to clear a path through the forest. This path was named the Wilderness Road, this path that he cleared through the forest. Making this path was not an easy task. I can't imagine going out in a wilderness, all these trees and bushes and everything, and clearing the way and making a path. And there were many hardships along the way. Daniel Boone and his men started a settlement known as Boonesboro. A settlement is just a community or, where someone lives, just like our community. When you go into a new community, that's a settlement. If no one has ever lived there before, then you set it up and you start a place for people to live. Although Daniel Boone faced many hard times, he never gave up. Okay, so what are we going to write about? The title that you wrote in lesson 113, you're going to continue on in lesson 114, which is today's lesson, Thursday, April 2nd. You're going to continue to write. You're going to start writing your beginning sentence. We always indent. So, I read to you some facts about Daniel Boone. We want to make sure that we write our concluding sentence. A concluding sentence finishes our story. So we have done that before. Our ending sentence, concluding sentence. We can use that word concluding sentence. And here are some examples. What is something we can learn from Daniel Boone? One thing we can learn from him, that was the concluding story that I read you just a few minutes ago, was he never gave up. So the concluding sentence would be something about never giving up. Okay, so we're going to be writing a rough draft. That's what I'm going to need you to do. And have fun with it. Write some colorful words. We're excited about Daniel Boone. This is like the third time that we have been discussing Daniel Boone. We read about him earlier, and now we're just going to write about him. And that should be exciting. So here's some key words. Daniel Boone was a famous what? He was a famous what? American pioneer. He was an American pioneer. And what land did Daniel Boone want to settle? Kentucky. He wanted to settle Kentucky. Okay. What was the name of the path to Kentucky? The name of the path to Kentucky was Wilderness Road. Wilderness Road. That's the path. So what was the name of the fort built by Daniel Boone and his men? This is the name of the fort, Boonesboro. Okay, so now Daniel Boone's family moved to the Yadkin Valley in North Carolina when he was 17. Daniel Boone married Rebecca Bryan. Daniel Boone wanted to explore the unsettled land of Kentucky. So I want you to write your sentences in paragraph form, okay? And I want you to use some of these words from the board up here. You can use some of those words if you like. And I strongly encourage it. And make sure that your sentences flow together when you're writing your paragraph. You don't want to start writing about pioneer and then go wilderness, Boonesboro, Kentucky, then Daniel Boone. That's jumping all over the place. It makes no sense. If you want to start writing about Daniel Boone was an American pioneer. He cleared a path called the Wilderness Road in Kentucky. And then he settled in this place called Boonesboro. Okay, it will be something like that. You want to make sense when you write something. I want you to write with detail. So include some detail. And you may, even include things like questions that you want to ask that you would like to know. But just use some detail. And I want you to use descriptive words. The descriptive words, like these descriptive words up here on the board. And so go ahead and start writing your rough draft. And when we come back together, we're going to read. I'm going to have you to read your rough drafts. And let's see if we can make corrections or if we need to make any corrections, or I can give you some suggestions. So that's the conclusion of our lesson, penmanship lesson 114. All right. Have a good evening.